Yeah. All right. Today in this video, I'm gonna talk to you about a concept that it's gonna be pretty shocking to most people, and it's about rejecting the projection. Rejecting the projection means whatever you see in the projection, which is your 3D world right now. That's the projection of the image or the images that you have in your mind. This is a very important concept, especially for entrepreneurs, because you're going to be faced with adversity. And if you do not learn how to reject the projection that you previously have created with the images you've put in your mind, you're going to be a slave to whatever it is. To whatever you see in your external world, that's what's gonna dictate the way you think, the way you feel. That's what's gonna dictate the way you think about your business, where you can get, what results can you get or no, you know. Because we need to understand that whatever you see right now, it's literally a projection. That's why I call it a projection of the images that you've put in your mind and you have manifested. Okay, you have created, and sometimes you do it in an unconscious way. Most certainly, if you have adversity, and if you're not where you want to be, this is something that you have created, not intentionally, but subconsciously, without even paying attention. Sometimes we've just manifested a bunch of results that you really don't like. Now, why is it important to learn how to reject this projection? Because if you don't do that, you're going to be a slave to your circumstances, and you're gonna let your finances dictate what you think you can do. You're gonna let the type of business dictate what you think is achievable. You're gonna let your competition dictate what is your price. You're gonna let the type of clients that you're attracting right now dictate the vision that you have for yourself and your business in the future. Okay, I've done this mistake in the past. This is not an easy concept to grasp, and it's even harder to put to practice. But it requires a bit of awareness in order, first of all, to understand this. Then I will give you a solution how to fix it. I've been through multiple businesses. I've been through multiple failures. I have been doing the opposite of what I'm preaching in this video. Like, I would let just whatever is right now in my circumstance dictate my state of mind. Then if I'm not getting enough clients, then if I'm not getting the type of clients I want, if I'm not reaching the income that I want, I would feel bad. I would feel that I'm doing something wrong. Um, I would expect negative outcomes for next month. I'm like, if I have somebody reject my offers, like, oh, somebody would say this is too expensive. I would think, oh, everybody else think this is expensive. Maybe my service is not worth it. You let whatever's going on right now control what you can think. This is the trap, because your thinking originates everything. If you've been following my videos, or if you don't understand, thinking originates your results. And if you let what's outside dictate the way you think, the way you feel, you're literally saying, I'm not in control of my own thinking. Hence, I'm not in control of what I can create. Okay? There is few laws that govern this universe. One of them is the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect dictates that to any effect there is a cause, and your results in life are the effect. The cause is in your mind. So if you do not take control of your thinking, of your feeling, your actions, your attitude, your internal state, you cannot take control of the outside. It will never happen. A person that sees something on the outside and let that thing on the outside affect the way he thinks, that person is trapped. He's not in control. The outside world is in control of his thinking. Now, as I said previously, It's a projection. Why do we call it a projection? Because it's a projection of what you had previously in your mind. Maybe you have an idea, a subconscious idea that you don't even understand that you have there. Maybe it's something that you've had in the past and you already forgot about it, but now it's projecting itself in your future, in your present, in your life. Okay, and as I said, I've been practicing this mistake, and it's not an easy thing to overcome, especially when you're hit with adversity, with bills that you have to pay, with unfavorable circumstances, with bad business, with I don't know, disease, any sort of adversity. And trust me, if you're an entrepreneur, you're gonna face some. So we need to learn about this, and we need to literally get to the point where we accept whatever is going on. We are in peace of whatever results we have at the moment, okay? Because we understand that we have created these results. Whether you know how you did, or whether you don't see how you did it, but just understand that you have created it. This is a law. Whatever you have on the outside, you have created in the inside. So, first of all, we need to understand that. Once you understand that, you will start paying attention to whatever you're thinking about, because you don't want to create more of the unwanted. So in order to do that, you have to start paying attention to what you think about, right? And hence you cannot let stuff that you don't like dictate the way you think. If something on the outside is happening right now and you don't like it, okay, it is what it is. I've created this, I'm responsible for this. You take responsibility. And at the same time, you understand, you flip the coin, you say, okay, what is it that I have to put in my mind so I can create a different projection in the outside world? Okay? And you go to your vision. What is your goal? What's your goal? What is it you're trying to create? You focus on that. You imagine, listen to this, you imagine the feeling that you would have once you reach your goal. How would it feel? You know? Live there. Take a moment and go there. Visit that place. Okay? Your mind, your subconscious does not differentiate between an imaginary experience and something that you're living with your five senses right now. For the mind, it's all the same. As long as you're mixing this experience, even if it's mental, with emotion. So go visit that place. Forget about the result right now. It is what it is. You have created that. Let's change it. How do we change it? We put a new image in our head. Write on a piece of paper, what is your vision? What is your goal? Where do you want to go to? What are the results that you're trying to achieve? And behind that, under that, describe or write down what is the version of yourself that you have to become in order to be worthy of that outcome that you're seeking. Okay? That version of yourself. How does it look? How does it think? How does it feel? What are the actions that it takes? What are the actions that it would never do? Okay? What are the principles that this version of you lives by? Okay? You describe that, and you revisit that place every time. And you literally, when you do that with repetition, and repetition is one of the two ways to actually influence your subconscious mind, is by repeating to yourself that idea with emotion. You're feeling it, you're experiencing it in your imagination, and you just keep repeating that, keep repeating that, keep repeating that, and try to maintain that feeling during the whole day. And go take action. Take the action that elevated version of yourself that is already worthy, has already achieved that goal. Take the same action as that version would take. You know, if you are, I don't know, 10x in your business, what would that version be doing? How would it be speaking to clients? What are the processes that it would have in place in order to intake the clients in? Does it work out? Does it eat properly? Does it read? You know, What are the actions? And start taking those actions. You're not going to be able to do all of them, but do what you can. And you're literally, with time, with repetition, by doing this every day, you start creating a new version of yourself. This is how you overcome the trap of letting the projection dictate what you think and create the same results. This is why people stay in the same loop. Their thinking creates a certain type of result. This is the type of result. This is the thinking creates a certain type of result. That type of result controls their thinking, and they think about the same things, and it goes back to the same type of thinking, and it gives them different type of results. I mean, different type of result, but from the same nature, like results that are from the same nature, maybe a little bit different, but the same kind of results. Okay, just different face. Maybe you get a new client, but the same shitty clients with the same shitty attitude, clients that a different client, different face, but the same type of person that would argue about the price and don't see the value in what you do. Okay, the same struggle, like so you really need to get to the point to where you actually break that loop, because if you don't break this vicious loop, you're gonna be there forever. You're gonna be there forever, and you're never going to move ahead. Like Tony Robbins says, I heard him say multiple times that business is a spiritual game, which means it's not only about the tactics and the strategies. That's important. You will figure out what strategies are best and best for your type of business or for your type of whatever circumstance you're trying to overcome. You will figure out the strategies, but the most important part is your internal world. Your internal world has to be aligned with what you want. You cannot just see something negative and let it dictate. See that people are going out of business and let it dictate your thinking, and let it inject fear into your heart, and like start thinking, oh, I'm gonna be out of business as well. No, don't think like that. Think about what you would like to create. Maybe you will come up with revolutionary ideas. You will come up with something new, something completely different. Maybe you're gonna flip everything around. Maybe you're gonna go to a different market. Maybe you're just gonna start attracting new type of clients in a new country. I don't know. Solution is there, but you just have to be aligned with that solution. And in order to do that, you cannot let the outside dictate what you think. So learn to reject the projection. Okay. This is the idea I wanted to share with you in this video. I hope you understood it. I know it's not an easy thing to grasp. There is a lot of things a person has to know in order to actually trust that what I'm saying is true. You need to study the laws of the universe, the laws that govern creation, and when you start learning about these laws, as now I mentioned, one of them is the law of cause and effect. You will start seeing how things get created, how creation happens. It's not only what you do. Anything that you do starts with an idea in your head. Okay? Anything starts with an idea, and you have to believe that this idea is possible for you. And you will believe only when you studied long enough, and if you've put and when you put what you've studied to practice and it gave you some result, this is when you're gonna start believing, oh, this works. You start doing it with small goals, and you start shooting for bigger goals. Then you will start you will start really paying attention to what you think, because you know that it originates from here, your mind. Your mind is the originator. So hope you like the idea. If you have a question about this, leave your comment here. Follow me on IG. I share daily wisdom, daily reminders that we all have to we all have to remind ourselves as entrepreneurs, you know, and yeah, it's the only way to do things correctly is by doing the right thing. Like, the only way to do things correctly is doing the right thing, you know, and the right thing is to create from a good place, you know. Control your mind so you can control your results. See you in the next one, guys. Peace.